The Badgers get a quarterback in the 2025 class, and it has the potential to kind of redefine that class. Let's talk about Carter Smith committing to the University of Wisconsin.
You are Locked On Badgers, your daily podcast on the Wisconsin Badgers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is going on, Badger fans? Welcome to Locked On Badgers the day after the Nebraska loss. This is a good chaser, right? Like sometimes you have a bad meal, you have a bad day, you just have a bad whatever. Sometimes you need to wake up and you have a chaser. What better chaser than the number 15 quarterback in the composite rankings in the country? I almost just swore right there. I almost just said mother effing country commits to the Badgers. Let's play the cannons. Let's talk about why this is so important. I got a couple, I'm going to call them three truths I'm going to talk about on this show. We're going to scout his game, what it means for the quarterback room. Big, huge get for the Wisconsin Badgers.
Fire the recruiting cannons. Another one is headed to Madison on Wisconsin.
All right, let's talk Carter Smith. Carter Smith, 2025 quarterback out of Florida, 6'3", 190-ish pounds. He actually looks like he might be built a little thicker than that. Four-star composite quarterback, number 15 quarterback in the country per the composite. Is 164th overall player per the composite. Offers from Penn State, Ole Miss, Florida, among many others. He was a Michigan commit. This is by all definitions a blue chip quarterback. This is a blue chip quarterback that the Badgers flipped. You can't undersell how big of a win this is for the program. Okay, let's talk about his game. I'm going to throw some film up as well. We're going to share some film here, Carter Smith. So we can talk about his game, but you guys can just watch along as we do that. We talked a little bit about Carter Smith the other day when we had Brian Smith on as well. So I'm going to link some of that content as well. You can see what Brian Smith has to say about Carter. But all right, Carter Smith, athletic, live arm, tough, good size. I love them. He's a multi-sport guy. I love multi-sport athletes. Let me change this view a little bit so you guys can actually see me here. Nope, that's not a great one. Let's try this one. Whatever. So I love multi-sport athletes. He's a baseball guy. He's got a really live arm. There's a couple plays in here, and Brian Smith pointed this out, where he's actually going to lead the toss sweep and level a defensive back. Listen, the quarterback spot, more than almost any other, you need intangibles, you need mental toughness, you need the ability to be a leader. You can see some of that on film. I was talking to somebody who knows this game pretty well. One of the first things they talked about, which I love this with a physical athletic guy, one of the first things they talked about was actually the intangibles, where a lot of times when people lead off in intangibles, they're doing it because maybe the quarterback doesn't have the physical skill set. This is a quarterback that has the physical skill set, but people still laud and love the intangibles. They love the toughness. They love the winning mentality. This is a player who could have pursued professional baseball, but his heart is into football. One of the reasons they picked Michigan originally, this was a Michigan commit. One of the reasons they picked Michigan initially was because they love the toughness of that program. His father spoke on that. His father was an athlete as well, a really good baseball player. So his father talked about loving the toughness of Michigan, the Big Ten, being able to run the ball, just being able to be a winner. Those are the type of things you're looking for a Wisconsin quarterback, right? Toughness, just doing whatever it takes to win. So I think from a mental standpoint, you never really know how it's going to translate, but you love those type of things from a high school quarterback. And then if you talk about the skill set, he's got enough size. He's a well-built kid. Moves like he really is a mobile quarterback. He can throw off platform. He can roll to the left or the right. Here you've seen a nice clip rolling to the right. He has the ability to extend plays. This is something this offense has desperately needed for, quite frankly, for the most part, minus a quarterback here or there. This offense has needed this for the last 15 to 20 years. A quarterback on 3rd and 6 who can scramble, not even scramble for first down necessarily, but scramble, extend the play, hit somebody in the flat, move the chains, and just frustrate the ever-living heck out of a defense coordinator. This guy can do that. Here's a play right here. You see him leading the play as a blocker. Again, I'm playing different types of positions, just being physical, tough. He checks a lot of boxes for this team. All right, I'm going to stop sharing this here so we can just get back to kind of talking about his game and some truths I think this has. Get some of your comments as well. Let's get some of your comments in here. Justin Tyler, sound the cannons. Weapon X says, please be good. Yeah. And that's the thing, you never know, right? Like, you have to continue stacking talent, and the more talent you can stack, the more lottery tickets you get. But this is a premium lottery ticket. Like, if you go to the gas station, I'm not a lottery ticket guy, but they have like the $1 lottery tickets, and then they have like the $20 lottery tickets. The more talented a kid, the better his physical measurables, the higher the tier of that lottery ticket you're buying. Like this is a huge get for the Badgers. And that's kind of the first truth I want to talk about is there's a vision within this program that I know coming off the Nebraska game, I know in the midst of this season, it can feel like the ship is maybe taking on a lot of water, right? It's maybe sinking a little too quickly. But internally, they're not landing kids like this and Jalen Williams, another 4-star kid they just landed, if they're not able to share their vision, show their vision, and sell their vision. So that belief is still there because you're not landing a 4-star kid unless they really believe in what you're doing, right? You're not landing a 4-star quarterback after you just let go of an offensive coordinator unless they really believe in the vision that you have and where this program's going. So I think if you want to boil that down to one word, it's health. Like the healthiness of what they're selling to these recruits, the ability to show what they think they can do in the future is still there because otherwise you're not landing these kids. The NIL program is still there, right? It's still working. Otherwise you're not going to be able to land these kids. I think if you're a Badger fan, you take a lot of comfort in that despite some of these losses, you're still recruiting at a really high level, which means you're still showing the vision, which means you're still believing in what you're trying to do here. Because otherwise, again, you just don't land these guys. So hats off to Max and Pat for sure. That entire recruiting department, huge win for the Badgers. Let's get some of your comments in here. Jacob Brochup says this helps the Fickell pitch to the new OC hire. Yeah, I mean, I think this is all tied together. I think part of the pitch to Carter Smith is also we're confident in what we're doing at the OC spot. And this is I made a tweet about this the other day. Like I know in the press conference, maybe it wasn't Fickell's finest moment talking about the offensive coordinator who's calling plays, but internally, I think they have an idea of what they're doing and they're able to sell that. Again, it goes back to the vision point of this. Let's see. Yeah, Brian Strutz needed this after yesterday. I agree. Justin Tyler, he needs some development. Yeah, let's talk about that a little bit. There is some footwork that needs to be like you can watch it in the pocket. Again, go back, watch the film. He's a little quick, I think, to bail at times because he's a good athlete. I think the arm, he's got a little bit of an unorthodox delivery, partially probably because he is a baseball guy. He kind of throws like a baseball guy, but the arm is good. The accuracy is good. The ability to throw on the move is good. And at times, I think we get a little too hung up on, well, it's not the perfect mechanics. But does the ball get there? Okay, then. I'm not that stressed about it. You know, like if you have an ugly-looking jumper, but you're shooting 38%, like you can kind of live with some of those things. I think they'll do tweaks. But I don't think you bring a kid like this in with that type of talent and then you completely try to change the throw because I just don't think it's going to work. Robert Sortson and athletic quarterback Austin Kafensis 2.0. Yeah, there's a name right there. This is definitely not Austin Kafensis 2.0. This is a bigger kid who can run. I know you're just kidding though, Robert. Jacob says Smith is wired as well as anyone to start as a freshman team player and can run. Yeah, everything I've heard about Carter Smith, absolutely everything I've heard has been intangibles. Winner, tough. Wants to do what it takes to win. Multi-sport athlete, competes in everything. I think they found a kid who this term has been floating around on Twitter today. I know Big Cat used it. Foxhole guys. I think they found a guy who they think could be that type of leader at quarterback. And if you can pair that type of leader at quarterback with a kid who has the type of physical skill set that Carter Smith has, this could be a 3-year starter at Wisconsin. I don't think he starts as a freshman. I don't think that type of expectation is fair to him. But this could be a 3-year starter, like redshirt freshman type stuff on. He could be the guy for Wisconsin. All right, we got to take a quick break. We're going to come back. A bunch more of your comments. I want to talk about maybe some patience. I want to talk about kind of big picture, maybe where we're at right now as well. Get your comments on what this means for that quarterback room, not just in the 25 class, but going forward with the guys that are still in that room. That's coming up next. Locked On Badgers. But first, a quick break for our friends of the show. And as always, a quick second to say thank you for always being part of this community. You guys are incredible. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. FanDuel is our partner for a long time, right? Futures, parlays, teasers, spreads, whatever you want to do. Again, Wisconsin today against Pitt. Bunch of stuff going on. NFL, 49ers, Packers today. A lot of people watch the show knows I'm a Niner fan. No Brock Purdy today. If you want to get on the Packers, this is a great time to do it. Futures, parlays, teasers, spreads all over there at FanDuel.com. Right now, you can get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. That's FanDuel.com. Never waste a hunch and make every moment more with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NFL, also the official sportsbook of the Locked On Podcast Network. Again, always do it responsibly, but all your sportsbook needs is over there at FanDuel.com. Today's episode also brought to you by our good friends over at Gametime. Gametime is the ultimate place if you want to get a ticket for something. I talk about this all the time. Do more in life. This isn't even a sports advertisement at this point. Take the sports stuff off. We do enough sports. I don't know if you can ever do enough sports, but Go to a concert. I've never been to a concert. Go to a concert. Go to theater. Go to a comedy club. Go to the opera. Go to ballet. Go watch NASCAR. Just see cars make 4 straight right turns. I'm sure that's fascinating. But whatever it is, go do more stuff and use Gametime as your avenue and your ticket marketing network to get there. Gametime is the biggest network of tickets you're going to find anywhere with simple, easy buying process. It's quick. You get panoramic views of the seats before you sit down. Snag the tickets without the stress with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Terms to apply. Again, create the account, redeem code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off. All right, let's jump back into this. Let's get some of your comments. How are we feeling, Badger fans, after that Nebraska game, which that's a terrible game. There's no, like, this doesn't make up for that, right? I want to be super clear. I'm very happy we got a 4-star quarterback commit. This is a monstrous get. You still played a terrible game yesterday, and this team needs to win against Minnesota to just get to the bowl streak. How are we feeling today? Throw it in the comments. Let me know. A couple more things here. Let's see. Justin Tyler, maybe you're probably gone. I will say this on Mabry Mentor, and this is a good opportunity to jump into the quarterback room. I initially thought Mabry would be gone for sure. And I don't have full insight on this. I initially thought Mabry would be gone absolutely for sure when we heard that Longo was out the door, because he came to Wisconsin partially because of Longo. That doesn't mean he's going to follow Longo, but I thought he would probably be looking. I've heard a few things recently that made me think, I don't know, maybe Mabry plans on sticking around, and which I would love. Like, I still am big time on Mabry Mentor, the upside. And ultimately, you just need more talented arms in that room. Carter Smith is a good start, but you're not going to put all the basket on Carter Smith, right? You want Carter Smith. You want Mabry Mentor. You want another transfer quarterback. The more arms you get in there, the more competition you get, and the better the chance something rises to the top, right? One of the biggest mistakes this program made at the end of the Paul Chryst era was recruiting Graham Mertz and then not recruiting a guy the next year. It felt like they got Mertz and Paul Chryst and that staff. It felt like they said, oh, we're good. We don't need. No, you keep adding talent at that spot, because a lot of guys don't hit. Carter Smith might not hit. Like, incredible get, but there's no guarantees, especially at the quarterback spot. So if they can keep Mabry, plus add in a Carter Smith, plus get somebody from the portal, which they're going to have to do. They're going to have to go to the portal again, Badger fans. I know people don't want to hear that, but Tyler Van Dyke, there's a possibility he comes back, but he's coming off a major injury. He may not even be ready until fall campish with that type of injury. You got to go get another veteran. They're going to do that, but hopefully Mabry stays. Landon Locke will be interesting. My guess is he probably looks around. The Locke family was really, really big on Longo, and Longo was really big on them. And, coming off a knee injury, and now you've added Carter Smith, a lot of uncertainty there. My guess is Landon Locke probably looks around, but that's just a guess on my part. Dominic, huge Fickell, WWWW. Yeah, this is a big win. Dominic also says cannon time. Brian Shetty says, hey, at least this helps wash last night a bit now. Make no mistake, like, there's this season, which has not trended well, and then there's this recruiting effort, which is built more towards the future of this program, that has been exceptional. This offensive line class coming in is really good. This defensive line class is really good now that you added in Jalen Williams. The linebackers, some of these edges, Nicholas Clayton, Posa, it's a really good linebacker group. Now you've added a 4-star quarterback. You have Eugene Hilton at receiver. I like the tight end that they just got, Emmett Bork. I think if you're looking at this class, it's not quite as strong at the corners as they had in 24. Running back, you would have loved to get a Byron Lewis, who ended up at Florida State. But this is a really good class coming in. And it kind of gets into my next point of patience. Like, patience. You're still not even 2 years through the Luke Fickell era. And I was talking to Curtis. He brought this up. He said it kind of feels like that spot in the Michigan tenure where Harbaugh was really struggling, and then Harbaugh turned it around. Like, sometimes you do need patience. I still think Fickell's the guy. I said it on yesterday's show. I'm not out on Fickell. I think there needs to be some coaching tweaks, but I believe in the young talent they're bringing in. I still do. Call me an optimist, but that's how I've always leaned. But you can't almost not believe in it when you see them, even in the midst of this struggling season, land a 4-star quarterback like Carter Smith with this offer list. It makes me think, well, when these guys that they're bringing in the 24 and 25 class, when they get a couple more years under them and they're redshirt sophomores, redshirt juniors, and maybe we're having more success, if they can recruit at this level now, coming off of the Penn State game, coming off the Iowa game, coming off the Nebraska game, if they can do this now, what could this look like if they turn it around and then they start not only selling the vision, but selling the winning in the on-field success? I don't know. I think it's a fair question. GT Sterney says, boom, let's go. Tyler Strieber, love Tyler, man. Big pickup. This coaching staff is doing what it needs to do in recruiting. It takes time for these kids to develop and make a difference on the field. Fan base needs to be patient with Vic. Yeah, I promise I didn't read that before I just said what I said. Tyler, absolutely, I'm picking up what he's putting down. Justin Tyler says, holy facial hair, brother. Yeah, I should probably shave. That's probably true. Billy Tuesday, Ohio State fan checking in. QB play has been holding Wisconsin back. Great pickup for Luke and the Badgers. I agree. And this is the other thing. Big recruiting wins generate some buzz nationally. Like you've seen other prospects. You've seen John Garcia Jr., who's a Rivals guy, already react to this type of commit. These are the type of things that raise eyebrows. They help buy belief in the system when you're seeing a 4-star quarterback commit to the Badgers. It's a bit of a foundational looking piece that doesn't go somewhere if it feels like that castle is falling apart, right? So there is, again, I think you can look at this and say, okay, this season's not what we wanted. The Nebraska game was kind of inexcusably bad, but long term, you can still see the trend line moving in a certain direction potentially, if you want to look at it like that. A couple more comments, a bunch more comments right here. Ryan says, I'll get excited for 2027 maybe. Yeah, that's fair too. Couple more. TBD gone. That's from Wagner. Adam Novak said PC also admitted they never really developed Mertz. Yeah, Mertz was I'll say this. The Wisconsin program did Mertz no favors. They changed out his quarterback room every year, his quarterback coach, offensive coordinator, didn't have the receivers he needed. They put him in a new system. They forced him to play probably earlier than he had to. I 100% agree with Adam there. Seth Bunger says, I'm a sports photographer from Fort Myers. I've got to shoot photos and watch him in person. Dude is legit. So excited. Thanks, Seth, man. Drop more knowledge in here. Anything else you got on him? All right. I think we'll kind of wrap it there. Again, a bunch more comments. Some more comments on my facial hair. Robert Sorensen says, grow the beard. I don't think I can grow a beard. It comes in like a poplar forest, like a deforested forest that's a little sparse. It doesn't come in as thick as it should. People on the Discord have seen my beard when I tried to grow it in. I look like I'm on a terrorist watch list. I look like I'm on the FBI top 10. Like I've been living in a cabin in Montana for 10 years. The facial game is not strong with this one. This is about the extent of it. Maybe I'll shave all this and just have kind of like this goatee thing. If you're listening on podcast, I apologize. That does not make for good audio. Jason Geldon, Harbaugh turned it around because they started cheating more aggressively. Yeah, I'm certainly not expecting, I'm not a big fan of what they did there. But I will say this, they also recruited at a very high level and they developed those players. I think you have the right development staff here now with Brady Collins. I still believe in what he does and what that group does. That's one of the things Harbaugh was elite at, have the right strength and conditioning program. You bring in the guys with the raw tools, the physicality, the immense wingspan, the upside, and then you hand them over to people in your program that develop them. That's what the Badgers are trying to do here. And I like the development staff. I like the recruiting staff. These are big wins. This is a player who reminded a lot of people of J.J. McCarthy. It's a player that Justin has mentioned Max Dugan with, and I like that comp as well. This is a winning type of quarterback, and these are the type of pieces you got to get. And the fact that they're getting him in a year that hasn't gone as well as we had hoped, I think it's got to make you optimistic as a Badger fan. Let's get a couple more comments in here. Mike Witt says, does this mean Mabry is gone? I don't think so. Chris says the Discord link doesn't work at all. Let me put a new Discord link in here right now. If you guys are listening, come join us on the Discord. I would really appreciate it. It's also an awesome place with just top Badger fans. Let me throw this invite in here. Copy. All right, Discord is in. And Discord link is in the chat. Again, come jump in. All Badger stuff. Anything else we talk about self-wins, like a big job, whatever it is. Like we're there to celebrate the community, build the community, enhance the community. No politics ever. No Gophers. Basically anything else goes. Forrest Aguirre says, haven't given up on Fick yet. All depends on the OC. Yeah, the OC is a massive hire. And he's got to nail it because he didn't nail Phil Longo. Let's be super clear on this. The OC hire is on him, and he's 0 for 1. That's 100% on him. And if you mess it up again, you're not going to hire a third. Now, here's where I feel pretty confident in this. I don't think you're getting a Carter Smith unless Luke. Like they would have talked to Carter Smith and Carter Smith's dad and said, "Hey, this is who we're looking at. This is the system we're going to play." Because this is a quarterback who could have gone, who could have gone a lot of places. And he's not going to commit if you couldn't sell him on your ability to develop him. He wasn't going to commit if you couldn't sell him on the system that you're going to play in. So I think if you're looking from the outside looking in, worried about the offensive coordinator hire, I think that's a fair concern because he didn't get it right with Phil Longo. But I think you can also look to this commitment of Carter Smith and say, I feel pretty good about it because they're not landing the quarterback unless they're able to sell their vision at OC. And that's why I feel pretty good about that one. Chris McIntyre said jury's still out on Tressel at this point. I agree. Gaming Republic also, do they move on from Tressel even after firing Longo? I mean, I've talked about Tressel a lot. Justin and I have talked about it a lot. I personally don't think they fired two coordinators in one off season. And Tress is more Fickell's guy than Longo was. I don't think they make that move. And I'm not saying Tress is perfect. I'm just telling you realistically, I doubt they move on from two coordinators in one off season. There's a money element to this. People may not want to hear that. There's contracts you have to pay, and you're gonna have to pay people to leave and then go and hire somebody for a lot of money. That part of that money conversation matters at Wisconsin more than some other schools, which I don't think is always a bad thing. Like, fiscal responsibility is not the worst thing in the world. Make good hires, right? You shouldn't just be able to throw money away. And I also continue to think that this is a defense that's a little bereft of playmakers. And I don't know if there's a ton of coordinators you put into this team right now that would get dramatically better results with the talent in the front seven. I mean, you look at that game yesterday. How many tackles did Wisconsin miss? Tackling is not on Tressel, right? That number 21 Nebraska's running back forced 6 missed tackles. Just tackle. You go back to the Iowa game. How many times did Brendan Sullivan get on the edge with Pius, Lowry, Peterson, and just make them miss? I mean, again, Tressel's not perfect. That is absolutely not my hill I'm trying to die on. But talent matters more than coordinators. Kirby Smart will tell you that. Every coach will tell you that. X's and O's are great. Jimmy's and Joe's matter more. This team needs much more talent in the front seven. And I think that's talent's coming. That's, again, goes back to the point I made in the first segment. Have some patience. Thomas Heiberger and Nelu Lafayette, people don't want to keep repeating, wait for him to get his guys. But part of it is just wait for him to get his guys. Part of it is his talented recruiting classes are true freshmen right now. Like, that talent is coming. Those are really good gets. And will they all pan out? No, because they never do. But do they represent an athletic upgrade? I think so. Did the staff do a great job of maybe maximizing who should be playing this year? I don't think so. Like, this staff is not perfect this year on the defensive side. I think we all know that. I would still like to see what it would look like with a little better talent. That's where I'm at there. See if there's any more comments. Mike Witt says that defense quit yesterday. Kind of scary. That was a bad effort. Yeah, it was a bad effort. Jacob said it's hard to have a good defense without a D-line. This is kind of where I'm at, guys. Like, that defensive line, Elijah Hills has been a revelation this year. There's still plays where he gets washed out. You're looking at the defense line and you're playing – Dylan Johnson's playing a bunch. You're relying on a true freshman. You're relying on guys who – in their career have a couple sacks. It's just not good enough. Give it a couple years and you're going to get this group that he brought in the 24 class and the 25 class. They're going to be redshirt sophomores, redshirt freshmen. Again, I'm not here to try to sell hope. If you don't believe that, that's cool. This channel is never about forcing people to think a certain way. Fan how you want to fan 100% of the time. Like, it's never about me trying to sell you on something. That's not the point. But what we are trying to do is point out that the younger talent on the roster might need a couple years to get to where they need to get. And that's all I'd say on that one. Let's see. Any other comments here that we want to get up? I know I missed some, but I do appreciate you guys. Robert Sorensen says, get Talking Badgers to 1,000 subs. Yeah, there's another podcast out there that's Eilers, Dylan Graff, Koo, really good dudes. Go follow them as well. Again, we're always about trying to promote other Badger content as well. This is a collaborative community. It's not inclusive to any channel or me or anyone else. Like, rising tides lift all boats. The more voices we get together, the more perspectives we get, the smarter we all get. And this is always about that. So yeah, go check out Talking Badgers, get them up as well. Mike Whitlock, brothers gone. I think so. Wes says, who do you think is gone as a whole portal wise? I know some names that I think are probably leaving. I don't want to put them out on here because I don't think that's probably fair to anybody, but I'll say this. You're going to lose guys. Don't freak out, because every program in the NIL portal era is going to lose guys now. You're going to lose guys from the 24 class. So is every other program in the country. I would be hesitant to look at that. And I think some fans are going to say, oh, you already lost them. This culture is broken. The culture in college football is kind of broken. Okay. Every program is going to lose freshmen. Every program is going to lose upperclassmen. Alabama last year lost their best safety to Ohio State. Right? If that had happened at Wisconsin, we wouldn't have been freaking out and saying Wisconsin's a feeder program. It happened to Bama. This is college football. I know specifically about a certain SEC defensive lineman that didn't want to leave and got an offer he couldn't refuse. Like, this is every program is going to lose guys. So this offseason, when we lose some, don't freak out too much. Yak's going to be gone. A lot of people talking about Yak. I can't imagine he'd be back for sure. All right, we'll wrap it there. Y'all are incredible and awesome. This community is incredible, is awesome as always. Really do appreciate it. Big get for the Badgers. Huge get for the Badgers. Basketball today. We'll do a live show after that as always. Bunch of content coming up on Wisconsin. They get a 4-star quarterback. Be excited about that because I think it means that they're still selling what they believe the vision of this program is, and they're able to get top-tier talent into the program by doing that. I think that's a good thing. On Wisconsin, and we will talk later. When you're done here, go check out Locked On College. All the biggest stories in college football over on the Locked On College channel.